Therapy Unlocked, where we discuss all things therapy from an unlocked perspective. I'm Emily Huffman, and I'm here with Katrina.
Hello, Katrina, Mondragon, licensed professional counselor. I am a professional, but not your professional, so nothing we're going to talk about today should be taken as medical, legal, or otherwise advice. This podcast is purely for education and amusement. That is it. That's the disclaimer.
Education, amusement, and because I would like to be famous. So please like, subscribe, follow, engage. And welcome to Therapy Unlocked.
Well, and I have terrible news for the viewers watching along at home, chronically ill, etc. You will get that euphoria for a while, and then it will stop. I don't get it anymore.
I think that's on a person to person, because some people will develop a tolerance, yes, and the tolerance is common. You need more and more to make it get to that point,
Sure.
or you don't get it
Yes.
at all.
Yeah.
You just feel normal. Is that right?
I feel normal.
Right.
I do not get
some people never develop what you would call a tolerance to the fact that, like, they could do 5 milligrams and that would affect them the same in every single day. If they had that 5 milligram gummy every night, that would affect them the same as if they took 25 milligrams. So that 5 milligram and 25 milligram might be no different. So they're better at microdosing.
So this is where I will argue to you that most people are doing it wrong because they think the goal is to get high.
That's not the goal if you're medically.
We're
using
talking medical marijuana. If you are using medical marijuana in place of medication and you are approaching it as medication, I do believe, I'm so sorry, you probably will not contintive to get high for very long at all.
Like, here's the symptom.
And not even sorry about that. This is
the result.
This is something I wish that I wish it was in pharmacies and that pharmacists would say, which is that you won't believe how much better you will still feel and you won't be high, okay? Because some people are terrified of trying medical marijuana because they don't want to be high. Now, I took opiates for so long, and occasionally I still have to take them because I have again, another comorbidity, trigeminal neuralgia, which is called the suicide disease. It's a terribly painful condition. When it flares up, I absolutely have to take opiates. No holds barred. There's nothing else I can do. I've had to go to the hospital and have them shoot them right onto me. It's very, very painful. But every time I've ever taken an opiate, I've gotten high. I really do not get high from marijuana anymore at all. I suppose I could if I chose to sit there and just drink a whole bunch of it. Now, I know I started this video by saying to you guys, I'm high. I know, but that said,
not the same kind of high that you're thinking
it's a different kind of high.
Would you say that other people get high at a party and you get high to do the laundry?
I get high to get out of my bed.
To do all the things, the activities of daily living?
Yeah, I have to. It is my pain medication. When I gave up pain medication, I gave it up. And I am a person whose joints do not work. I'm sitting on my walker. I don't use this full time. It's a part-time mobility aid. But my hips sublux, my knees sublux, my shoulders will sublux in my sleep and pinch me. There's all kinds of things that go on in the Ehlers-Danlos world that are like a creepy science fiction movie. Like, it's not a pleasant experience. Don't recommend it.
Before we wrap up, though, I was wondering if we could talk a little bit about the stigma. Like, there's such a stigma around cannabis still, as DARE was proven to be a big scam. Like, they knew it was going to make people do more drugs.
Yeah.
But so, what do you think about the stigma? Did you internalize it at all? Did you feel like you were doing something wrong at first?
I did not, but I am an information gathering slut. I love to gather information. And like I said earlier, I was a later adapter because I really needed all of the confirmation that this was the best choice for me. And I will out myself a step even further, which is that I was breastfeeding at the time and I was not sure what to do because on one hand, I could take painkillers and not nurse my child. Okay, I had hurt my back. I could take painkillers and not nurse my child. Or what I ended up doing while I was researching is I was taking a painkiller, waiting until it completely wore off. And if you ever have pain, chronic pain, they don't want you to get behind the pain, okay? But you take a painkiller, I would wait till it completely wore off. Then I would feed my child, and then I would pump, and then I would get to take another one, rinse and repeat over and over again. And it was becoming very difficult, especially since I struggled with postpartum.
Yeah.
And So it came to the point in time, I discussed it with her pediatrician. I discussed it with my OBGYN. I discussed it with my primary care physician. I discussed it with a doc. I didn't do an online rec the first time. I went to a doctor's office to have an in-person meeting, and I talked about it with that doctor. And then I spent probably every night for 2 or 3 months reading about whether or not it was safe to nurse and use cannabis. It is. It is. That same child skipped a grade. She's a literal genius. It is completely safe, in my opinion. And I am an unqualified opinion, so take that however the hell you want. But that said, I believe it's safe with all of my information gathering. And I believed that at the end of my research, that I had reached a more ethical position. I not only was going to be a better parent, which I didn't know yet. I didn't know that yet. I became a better parent.
Probably more present.
Absolutely.
More playful.
Yeah. The opiates numbed me out, and I missed a significant portion of my oldest child's life, in my opinion. I feel robbed of that time because I was so numb. College as well. I can't believe I made it through college on that many narcotics, but I did. But I didn't enjoy significant portions of it because I was just desperately staring, trying to absorb the information. It was so stressful. I had a headache almost every day, like so hard. But no, I ethically felt like that. The reason that it felt ethically correct is because the opiate crisis was just starting to be of notice for like the American people. And I had already noticed that it was low-key insane, the number of things they were giving me, that I was walking through life with this extreme amount of medication. At the time I was on the opiates, I stigmatized myself. I felt like even though I have legitimate, significant, read it on an MRI kind of pain, I still felt like an addict because I had to take so many things as they were given to me. And I didn't care for it. And I don't feel that way anymore.
Nice.
I'm the first person to stand and look at someone and I would pass a lie detector test and say, I do not do drugs. I don't do any drugs.
Only prescribed medications.
I do. And I treat it like medication, which was the other thing I was saying is, yeah, okay, so maybe you won't get high anymore, but you would not believe I take my dosage, my magic dosage is not 5, it's 50. Okay.
Everybody's going to be different.
Everybody,
body
it varies.
Okay.
Okay.
Some people don't ingest cannabis at all, and that's fine too.
Yeah, that's also fine. I use a few different routes because different things seem to work best for different symptoms that I have, right? So for pain relief, the most cost-effective thing for me, and also what works the best because it's almost like having my own little morphine button, I've had one before, so I know, is to smoke. I'm in pain, okay, I will smoke. Or vape, that's fine too, but I'm not a fan of the vapes because I'm afraid of lead poisoning. Look it up, y'all. Boomers. I'm sorry. That said, though, yeah, I don't want to vape for that reason, but I can and I will. Or I will smoke, and that's like having a little morphine button. For a longer term period of, wanting to control the pain, or like, let's say I need to control the pain and I'm going to go eat with people.
Mm-hmm.
My sister knows this, but you guys don't. I mostly don't eat. I don't eat a lot. My guts don't move a lot, right? So if I'm going to go to a social scenario, though, and I want to eat with people, the most effective way to stimulate my appetite is 50 milligrams of THC.
Get yourself the money. That makes sense.
Otherwise, I'm not going to get to enjoy said social interaction. And I will not smell bad because I took an edible. I didn't smoke anything. Like that is one route that I will go to get through that. Or say it's a holiday, or like for the last month, I've had a flare and I haven't been able to eat. And sometimes it's like, oh man, it's been 2 days since I've had a full meal. I better grab a gummy so that I can try to not start losing my hair again or something.
Right.
People don't realize, because so many people, and I just outright say, abuse the terminology of medical marijuana. They don't need it for a medical reason.
They might use it recreationally.
They are using it recreationally, and they went and got a medical marijuana license. I do believe that is entirely possible. They do it all the time. I don't have a problem with it. But because they are misusing it, they lump truly ill people in with that group, and that's not That's not the vibe. Personally, I'd like to see some reform in the medical marijuana industry.
Agreed. I think the federal illegality is valid to an extent. I think that the medical legalization of it federally would allow patients to travel freely. And especially those patients who are like, maybe they're minors, maybe they're not. There are like some cases where minors for like, I don't know, epilepsy or things like seizure disorders where they have like the minors do sometimes ingest cannabis.
There are some benefits for minors
right now,
in case by case scenario.
But right now they can't travel. So like a cannabis consumer in, let's just say our state, in Oklahoma, a medical patient in Oklahoma cannot travel legally with their medication to like Ohio, because in Ohio, where it is recreationally legal since like December of 24 or something like that, or 23, I don't know, they have recreational up there and medical. But you can't cross state lines being federally illegal. That is illegal. And so you can't take your medication. You have to wait and repurchase. And if they don't recognize out of state medical, which some states do, I believe like Illinois recognizes out of state, Maine recognizes. Oh, Oklahoma does not?
Oklahoma requires that you pay full price for a visitor recommendation.
If somebody's traveling from California to Oklahoma,
then they need to get a license.
Plan ahead.
Yes, at least a month, if not 2 months ahead of time.
I think you can renew your license within 120 days. So I would say if you're traveling, give at least 2 months going on that.
2 months, both because of they have 7 to 10 days to approve it. But if it gets rejected, it gets kicked right back to the start of the queue again, right? Mm-hmm. So let's say you do a bad photo. That's an easy mistake to make. You get it rejected 10 days in, and then it's not going to get seen again for another 10 to 14 days because it is business days. At that point, you could be really cutting it close to get a medical license.
On that note, I've heard a lot of people submitting their own. However, I've heard of some doctors' offices that will offer to do it for you for a small fee. I don't know if it's like $20 or $25.
Usually application assistance is like $25, but I have the funniest news of that. It doesn't include taking your photo.
Oh, some places it does. So that's interesting.
Nowhere that I've seen, but if you can find one, that's great information.
I'm just going to throw it out there. Seva Medcare. I've heard of a friend that went there and they took their picture. They got rejected. They got help getting reapplied and like it was fine.
That's awesome. No, I have always had to take my own picture, and I used to purchase the first 2 times I did it. I purchased the application assistance, and then I stopped because they actually don't do anything you don't literally do for the doctor's appointment. It's like, and they didn't take my picture. I had to take it myself. I used an app on my phone, which the Oklahoma instructions give you a list of recommended apps.
There's like a passport photo app.
Yeah, I use an app on my phone, passport photo app. They accepted it, bing a bang a boom, and it was all good, and I even took the photo myself, like holding it in front of me, and they took that.
Do they have rules though, like no glasses, no smiling?
So I was afraid that I was going to get in trouble on mine because I had hair in front of my ears, and they do have rules listed there. I forgot about that rule. I'd already submitted it, and then I went back to look because it was taking a little while, but they approved it. So hair in front of my ears on that one. But no, they do want you to have like a clear face, all that stuff. The instructions are so easy to follow. They are so easily written. Like,
I'm just thinking for the people who are not technologically inclined, the people who don't have the ability to upload that form to their phone and then mail the PDF or do it through the portal, however it works. I don't know how it works.
Yeah. I think the hardest part of the entire thing is setting up I believe it's called Phoenicia or Thentia, something like that, portal at the very first time you apply. And even that is not challenging. Most people would be able to do that comfortably and easily.
Okay.
I do think that is the case. But I think reform in the medical marijuana industry is deeply needed at this time. Because, for example, if we were truly a medical state, when I wanted the strain 10th Planet because it stimulates my appetite, then I would be able to order it from my dispensary.
Ah, okay. So that makes sense. If you had the specific strain in mind that you wanted, you'd be able to get it.
Yes. So like if I know that using 10th Planet stimulates my appetite, because I believe it was even designed for that, then I would know, I would be able to order that, but I cannot. And that's not medical.
Well, that seems like a good place to wrap up. I don't know what you think.
Anyway, so reform in the medical marijuana industry. Just being like, you should be able to order the medication that you need.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, especially this was prevalent during the COVID times, medical patients need priority in obtaining their medications. And also, as someone who can not drive most of the time, I mean, I do drive, but most of the time I do not. My pharmacy delivers.
Nice.
I don't know why my dispensary can't bring me my medication.
Some states do allow dispensary deliveries. I've heard of people in like Oregon, California, they get their medication delivered.
Yeah. And I feel like that is a medical necessity, depending on the situation. And Oklahoma's answer to that is to allow someone to have caregivers. Well, some people don't have that.
For some reason, we have alcohol deliveries in Oklahoma, but
we
not
do.
Cannabis deliveries.
And here is my final hot take for our marijuana saga here, because I believe that we probably have 2-3 episodes at least. But my final hot take is that weed should absolutely be federally legal, encouraged for the usage in both medicinal and recreational circumstances. I truly believe that. And alcohol should be banned forever.
Bring back prohibition.
The end. Cheers.